U value should I target for my retrofit project? So yeah, a lot of people do ask about what sort of U value to target. Building control generally try and steer people towards 0.3. The actual threshold value is 0.7. And I think in building control it does say that if the strategy that you're using has a payback period of longer than 15 years and reduces the room area by more than 5%, you can actually then sort of scale it back. So usually that means that we're looking at sort of 0.7 U values. What sort of things do you come across?
Yeah, so this is a deeply nuanced area, it would seem. And I think, broadly speaking, if you take the U value of an existing uninsulated element, it could be anywhere between a U value of, let's say, 1.5 and 3. And, with only 20 mil, let's say, of a natural fibre insulation, you can more or less halve the conductive heat loss of the wall down to, 0.9 to 1.5, which is a huge improvement, but still quite a way more conductive than the regulatory threshold. I think the important thing about the regulatory context, if we use that as some framework for this, the Part L is agnostic of whether you add the insulation internally or externally. So if you're sticking insulation on the outside, there's few other limiting factors except cost and space and so on, but there's few other limiting technical factors. So achieving the 0.3 target is quite easy. You stick 120 mil minimum wood fibre insulation and you've achieved the target. When you add the insulation internally, all of a sudden there's a lot more considerations to allow for in terms of moisture, and I think that's really where more conservative targets might become more relevant.
That's a really good point. Yeah. So, and that's often the reason that we point people towards higher U values than 0.3, because the risks from interstitial condensation, moisture risks, the risks that are associated with rain-driven moisture, et cetera, are increased as you're putting more insulation on. And so, so we do tend to use thinner layers of insulation internally. But internally, really small amounts of insulation isolate you from the masonry, and all of a sudden the surface feels warm. The surface temperatures rise very quickly. Adding a layer of internal insulation makes a massive difference to comfort. So, but that's a question for another day.
Yeah.